People, hey, so I'm back to cooking. I got a Traeger. It's pretty great at some things, nowhere near like a Weber Smoky Mountain at others. That's just been my takeaway so far. We'll get into that in another video, maybe like a review or something. But anyway, what I want to show you today is how to make simple, quick, because that's how I do things, but pretty darn good, I think, if I don't do say so myself, grilled cheese. Because it's called grilled cheese, everybody. Like, it ain't called panned cheese or fried cheese. It's grilled cheese. So when you see people putting grilled cheese on a stove, just don't let them call it grilled cheese. Just like, oh, you're making some pan cheese, huh? Just like, get at them. And I hope you never make it on the stove again unless you're like in a dire emergency, like a lunch emergency. But I like to make this for dinner because I make it big enough to be dinner. I serve it usually with salad, and we're gonna get into it. I serve it with asparagus because the lady in my life will only eat asparagus as a vegetable, like maybe a couple other things, but she's not big on salad. And you got to get greens in these people. What are you gonna do? You got to get greens in them. So here we go. Here's the list. So the first thing is got to start with the right bread. I get sourdough bread. It's got to be big. It's got to be thick. It's got to fill you. I want the sandwich to be the size of your head. That's the goal. That's the goal. I got to remember that you're right there. That's you. You're not over there. You're not up there. You're right there. You're in my heart. So the next thing that's most important is you have to use mayonnaise to make grilled cheese. You have to. I use 3 kinds of cheese. We'll get into why. I mean, really, cheese and mayo are like the great Buddha. They kind of become one with everything and bring you to nirvana, really. Mayonnaise and cheese, that's all it takes. Never met the guy, but I think he would agree. So then today I'm gonna keep it super simple. I'm using sliced American cheese Kraft, which I'll show you, and I'm using this 3 cheese blend sliced, already cut up for me because I'm in a hurry. Dad's in a hurry. And then I found some pepper jack rustic cut. We like the rustic cut thicker cheeses because you can taste them. Because again, cheese becomes one with everything, but sometimes you just want the cheese. Like in a salad, sometimes the cheese just disappears and all we taste is ranch. So then, yeah, Kraft sliced American cheese, orange. You're gonna need some Parmesan. It's gonna go on the outside of the sandwich, oddly enough. Spoilers. And I got asparagus, as I mentioned. I'm gonna marinate the asparagus in. Today I'm gonna use Signature Italian. I don't ever make my own marinades. If I'm using more than one seasoning, it's pre-packaged from McCormick. Like, that's how I do everything. Speaking of McCormick, I'm gonna sprinkle some garden vegetable seasoning onto the asparagus when it's done, just lightly. I'll show you how I cook it. I think there's a good trick that I'm using. And I have garlic and salt together as friends. And that's it, that's all your ingredients. I'm gonna get more into the setup and, putting everything together. It's quick and easy stuff. I know anybody can make grilled cheese, but I think this is how you take it up a level without spending all afternoon or doing anything crazy. So I'll be back. Alrighty, so here's how I lay out my sandwiches. I do like a slice and then a half a slice of the cheese. So I got a nice even layer of cheese, and then I do my best with the shredded cheese. I'm kind of regretting this pre-shredded cheese. Like, I usually shred up my own pepper jack. I put the bread out in these bins and then I just shred and let it go everywhere. I'm hoping that it's enough pepper jack flavor for the lady in my life. And then I have one of these grill mats for veggies, and I do the asparagus on that. That asparagus is in a bag in the fridge in some 15-minute marinade. This whole action will go on for about 15 minutes at smoke setting, just because I really want to get that smoke into all the cheese and all the bread. And I gotta say, like, my favorite meal on here is grilled cheese because it gets it so smoky. But the thing about a Traeger is, at higher temperatures, there's just not that much smoke. Like, so if I were doing a higher temperature meal like pork chops, I'm gonna put that on a regular grill with a chunk of wood in there, because when I add my chunk of wood, I get smoke whenever I want it. But anyway, that's the setup. And what I'm gonna do is, once this cheese starts to look melty, I'm gonna close up the sandwiches, crank up the heat, like once it starts to melt, and then I'll put my asparagus on because that doesn't need a lot of time, and we'll go from there. So if you look at this cheese close, like right there especially, it's just starting to show signs that it's melting. So that's when I go ahead and throw my asparagus on there. And what I do is I dribble just a little bit of that marinade on top. Not too much because it'll run off the mat there, but that's what I do. So again, it's a little bit melty, so it's time to close them up, crank up the heat. Today I'm gonna go 375, so this thing gets done. And I threw some SpaghettiOs in a little cast iron thing because they like to have SpaghettiOs with it. I don't. I'm good on salad, but grilled cheese and SpaghettiOs to them are like peas and carrots. Not that I can get them to eat peas and carrots, but that's what it's like. All right, so here we are looking done. The one sad thing about this meal on the Traeger is you really don't get grill marks. Maybe a little bit, like when the sandwich gets too over that edge of the catch pan. But if I was to do this on a charcoal grill, which I did many times and it comes out really good, I would just keep the grilled cheese on the opposite side from the heat. You know, set yourself up for indirect heat, and then just do like, I don't know, man, 30 seconds on each side to get your nice grill marks in there. The last thing I'm going to take off is the asparagus, because I'm going to lose temperature. It's going to cool down so fast and not be nearly as good. But I've cooked asparagus in a pan on the stove the same method, and it's just not as good. Like, this really does bring it up a notch. And you know, spaghetti. I'm not going to talk about that. So there you go. We're going to head to the plate. We're going to do some final seasoning. So I guess I'll check back with that. Okay, so like I said, the one thing you don't get is grill marks, but what you do get is a grilled cheese you cannot burn. If somebody calls you on the phone, if your child needs something, if somebody asks you a question, if you got to take out the trash, you can't burn it. Like, you're okay. This is very, like, busy mom, dad energy meal, you know, worthy. It's easy. But yeah, so I'm going to sprinkle some garlic salt, then some Parmesan. I'm going to go heavy on this stuff. And sometimes I'll take like a little brush and spread it out a little bit. It's up to you. And then on the asparagus, I'm just going to sprinkle this on one side. A little bit generous. But this asparagus, it kicks. Like, there's a lot of zing to that asparagus. There is nothing boring about it. And hopefully your family enjoys it like mine. There's never leftovers, I'll tell you that. So yeah, like I said, if I was cooking this on a regular grill, I would do indirect heat. That's really it. Cut them up, serve them. Sometimes I cut them into sticks and dip them. And it's just so fattening. Like, it really hits the fattening spot. But that's it. Flip them over on the grilled cheese side, do the same thing. Take the asparagus off last, and that's it. Alrighty, so there it is, your grilled cheese. I mean, you could bang that out in 30 minutes. You really don't have to marinate the asparagus, I don't think. I like to just let it soak in, but you cook it in the marinade, so it's really not that big a deal. Yeah, 15 minutes of smoking, 15 minutes at 375 was definitely enough. It did it. And you know, if you overdo the grilled cheese, it'll just make the cheese on the outside of the sandwich. That's what happens, but it's super gooey and good. I forgot to mention it was like a tablespoon of mayo on each side of the bread. So it is not a healthy meal. And if you don't serve it with leafy greens, you may never poop again. It may not happen. And that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope that you liked it. Again, if you're on a charcoal grill, just do indirect heat. And let me know if you tried it. I hope you like it. I hope it's a good go-to for your family like it is for mine. Thanks. See you.